Croeso friends, so much more has been happening in the world since my last video where things were, already pretty bad, what with the pandemic and all. Now we have pandemic and also protests in response to continuing police brutality. Let me make one thing abundantly clear before I move on to the meat of this seemingly frivolous video. I, and all platforms I have any say in, will always stand with Black Lives Matter. Police brutality and the continuing and unheeded cries for justice for the black and brown lives that have been ended because of it is not a political issue. The value of black and brown lives is not up for debate. So donate to Black-led movements and bail funds if you can. Support Black-owned businesses, especially queer Black businesses. It is Pride Month after all. Sign petitions and write to your representatives at all levels of government to make your support heard. Amplify Black voices, and if you can, pay them for the emotional labor of unpacking their experiences in a way that educates people. Deplatform racists and exclude them from your space, personal and collective. We must keep the momentum going and not let attrition eat away at the progress that has been made towards restorative justice in the last week or two. Now, everyone grab your cuppa. Today, I am drinking Caramel Puer from Brooklyn Tea, a Black-owned tea company, and it is absolutely scrumptious. I will make sure to put the link in the description box below, and we will dive headfirst into the fun world of aprons and smocking. Smocking is decoration on a garment created by gathering a section of the material into tight pleats and holding them together with parallel stitches in an ornamental pattern. Smocking was used as early as the 12th century to gather extra material into the side gores of garments, as seen in this picture of the Alb of St. Hugo that I am not currently showing you right now because it doesn't exist in the public domain. However, I will include a link in the description to Chris Laning's Flickr account where a lovely detailed picture can be viewed. Smocking continues through the Middle Ages, especially on aprons, as can particularly be seen in the Lattrell Psalter. Even into the late Middle Ages and the Renaissance, smocking can be found on the cuffs and collars of undergarments, especially those from the region that would later be known as Germany. I already own one smocked apron in the style that I will be creating today, a simple smocking style called honeycomb pattern. I will be making a few of them to donate to my SCA Kingdom to give out as gifts. It's easy and quick, and it looks quite fancy, so grab your cuppa. Oh, and do be sure to stick around until the end of the video for my plans to celebrate my next follower milestone. Grab your cuppa, and let's get into it. I'm starting off with some fabric. I think it's a cotton linen blend, but it was given to me in a box of miscellaneous unlabeled fabric, so I don't really have a way to know for sure. This piece is 45 inches wide and about 2 yards long. I don't need the full width of the fabric to make the aprons long enough, so I'll begin by cutting off about 12 inches on one selvage side, running the entire length of the fabric. This will then be cut into 3 4-inch widths of fabric to make the ties. The rest will then be cut into equal widths to make the body of the aprons. Normally, I'd consider hemming the aprons on my sewing machine, but since I'm starting this project at my partner's house, this seems to be a running theme for my projects lately, and because the apron hems aren't that long, I decided to just fold the edges over twice and secure with a running stitch. Here, I am using a black linen thread from Burnley and Trowbridge. I somehow forgot to film myself making these markings for the apron smocking. I took a sheet of graph paper and punched holes in a regular square pattern with an even number of rows. I then used a pen with heat-sensitive ink to mark through those holes onto the fabric. These dots will serve as the pattern for the smocking gathers and will disappear when ironed at the end of the project. I'll begin with the needle to the left of the first dot. Working from right to left, I'll insert the needle under the second dot, catching a few threads. Then I'll go backwards and do the same for the first dot. The thread should be in approximately the same place as it first came to the front of the fabric. I'll then pull the thread tight so the fabric gathers into a small pleat. Next, I bring the needle to the back of the work at the right of the stitch that was just made. This is one complete smocking stitch. Next, I'll move the needle to the front of the work at the left of the dot directly below the last one worked, but won't tighten the thread to gather that. I'll repeat the steps for the last gathering stitch and move the needle to the next pair of dots on the row above, continuing to gather pairs of dots in a zigzag pattern between the top two rows. When the end of the row is reached, I'll work my way back towards the left side of the apron, zigzagging between the third and fourth rows of dots. About halfway through the first row, I started adding an extra stitch to the smocking for additional security. I seem to have accidentally left a big loop of thread to the back while stitching. This is easily secured by cutting it in half, tying a knot, and snipping off the ends. Now that all the smocking is finished, it's time to iron and steam everything in place. I pinned the top of the smocking into pleats to ensure they would stay nice and flat when pinning the top band into place. The sides also get ironed flat, and the smocking gets hit with several bursts of steam to set everything in place and to make sure that the heat-sensitive ink markings disappear. To make the top band and apron ties, I am taking the 4-inch width of fabric from the initial cutting session, folding it in half, and ironing it. The raw edges are then folded into the center point, and the whole is ironed flat, folded in half, and ironed flat one last time, the same way that bias tape is made, but this strip is on the straight of grain. To sew the apron strings, I'm using a waxed cotton thread. The ends of the ties will be folded in twice to enclose the raw edges and secured with a whip stitch, and the length of the ties will be sewn together with a running stitch. Once I reach the section enclosing the apron, I'll switch to a whip or felling stitch, making sure to catch both the front and back of the enclosing band with each stitch. The remainder of the ties will once again be sewn with a running stitch, the ends turned in and secured with a whip stitch. So, here we are, all finished with this surprisingly quick 100% hand-sewn apron that looks wonderfully fancy. I will be donating 2 of these to my kingdom to hand out as largesse, or small gifts given from the king or queen, or any noble really, to thank or honor someone. The last one I shall be keeping for my own largesse purposes. As of the filming of this video, Opus Elenae has 164 followers. When we reach 250, I will do a random drawing and the winner will receive their choice of one of these 3 aprons. So please, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and in the interest of making sure that this giveaway happens as soon as it possibly can, please consider sharing this or any of my videos on social media along with copious exhortations to your friends to subscribe as well. If you are the kind of person who likes getting notifications when new videos go out, I do try my best to upload every other Friday, but I can't guarantee anything right now. Do click on the bell to turn those notifications on. And as always, friends, thank you for coming along with me. Be kind, do the work, support marginalized people, and keep creating. Hwyl.